Photography and overshooting. Sometimes it's okay to overshoot. Or is it? I don't know. I want to talk about overshooting because I overshot this photo shoot to an absurd degree. I'm still editing for watchability, so I'm not going to make you watch all that duplication. But what did I get out of it? What did it do for me? What did I gain, if anything? And that's the topic. So I start out at a reasonable pace because, firstly, that's just my pace. I used to be an overshooter, but I've worked on this for ages. Made a lot of steady progress, incremental progress, going back a long way. But most of my progress happened quite suddenly around 2018, 2019, when I bought my first mirrorless camera with much more accurate autofocus. Oddly, I do think that the mirrorless thing caused many to go the other way because a person can now fire off so many shots so quickly. I feel that precisely because of mirrorless and modern camera technology in general, although it brings capabilities of capturing so many simultaneous images, doing so is less necessary than ever. Because everything is just so dialed in now, especially autofocus. Yes, I'm making a bit of a generalization about mirrorless cameras. I will be showing some shots that I don't necessarily love, but this one I absolutely love. By far my favorite, at least so far. But anyway, yeah, it's a bit of a generalization. I'm sure there are some exceptions when it comes to the idea that mirrorless cameras have better autofocus. Anyway, it wasn't until this transition that I felt comfortable enough to grab like a single shot and walk away, maybe two for safety. Obviously, blinks and things of the sort are a factor when photographing people or animals, and I certainly take that into account as well. If you're shooting certain genres, sports, wildlife, you're overshooting, and you should. If you're shooting weddings, you're probably overshooting. Less than with sports and wildlife, but you should overshoot a wedding, to me at least. To some degree. Landscapes, cityscapes, all your various types of scapes. Overshooting is kind of ridiculous because, presumably, the scape isn't going anywhere between frames. It sure ain't blinking. If something is changing between frames, by all means, document it, with as many shots as you deem necessary. But when nothing is changing between frames, come on, chill out. I don't mean you can fire off as many frames as you want, I don't care. But this is the mantra that I repeat to myself. To me, all of that is settled. It's clear, it's obvious when to overshoot, when not to overshoot. Here's where it's not so clear. Portraits. I feel that there's a discussion to be had there. Well, here's how and why this all transpired. I wanted to shoot half of this on film. For various reasons, the film camera never even made it out of my bag. One of those reasons being that we just ended up having less time than I expected, and I felt like I wanted to maximize the time we had. We had discussed a number closer to 2 hours, which 1 hour is about the longest I ever do. So that seemed like a lavish amount of time. Plenty of time to shoot some film. Well, we didn't end up getting our 2 hours. It was still a good chunk of time, maybe an hour and 20, something like that. But truth be told, another half of that was eaten up by walking. I had a GoPro mounted on top of my stills camera, and I posted the unedited video on Patreon from that camera of every moment we actually spent trying to create photographs together. So I can tell you exactly how long we shot. 38 minutes. It's crazy how much time gets taken up by just walking, talking, changing clothes. I probably shouldn't have changed clothes. I don't know why I did that. But I did end up feeling, maybe not rushed, but certainly not like I could take my sweet time either. So maybe I felt a little unconfident or frantic or something, and I overshot for that reason. Here's the next reason. Maria is one of the best, most fluid, most physically creative people I've ever worked with. I mean that with the utmost sincerity. She's incredible at coming up with tons of ideas on the spot. I adore that photo. That's amazing. Love that. I really felt like I was watching someone with a special gift. And this was our transcendent moment of the shoot. If you're lucky, maybe you'll get one of those in a shoot. This was ours. I don't love all the decisions I made behind the camera. I think overshooting was not the right call. Well, I don't feel anything but positive, warm, bubbly feelings for these. I'm very proud of this little series. This was good stuff. But my desire to, I don't want to say keep up with, that wasn't it exactly, but I absolutely got swept up in the excitement of her creativity. I didn't want to miss anything either. If I needed her to slow down, I certainly would have said so. Instead, I just figured this is the pace of this shoot. It's kind of different for me. I don't want to get in the way of it. Let's just see what comes of it. If anything, we just got faster and faster. I shot faster, so she moved faster, so I shot faster still. My poor mechanical shutter. Okay, here's the other reason I adopted a faster pace. It started because we started shooting in direct sunlight, as we are again. I'm very particular about where shadows are allowed to go on a face. Not that there's only one way of lighting someone's face that I find acceptable. There are several. But then there's a lot of crap in between that I don't really find acceptable. Even though I adore this series overall, even here there were a few that I showed where there was a shadow that bugged me. But, you know, like a nose shadow, an eyelash shadow. When I'm shooting with direct sunlight or with a strobe on a stand or window light, anything that is highly directional, I essentially have two choices. Get super rigid, which comes with all sorts of drawbacks, but sometimes that's what I have to do. But I don't like doing that. I feel like the images get very stilted. Or just let it fly, embrace all the misses in search of those few hits. And that's what I did here. Along the way, I do my best with words, gestures, explanations, a little prodding, a reminder here and there. I don't know exactly what the right mixture of barking instructions versus hoping for the best is. Whatever it is, I'm sure I haven't achieved it. But that's the realm I often find myself working in. But you can't opt for that approach and conserve frames at the same time. Technically, I suppose you could, but that's certainly going to squash the creative, collaborative atmosphere if I start refusing to shoot stuff. If I start saying no, 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 instead of just click, click, click. In this situation, I've got to overshoot. There's no opting for this strategy, but not overshooting it. It's kind of a package deal, regardless of how unpleasant the concept of overshooting might be to me personally. Had I ended up shooting my film camera, that would have meant a very slow, methodical, rigid approach. That would have been very interesting to see the contrast between those two styles. I really wanted to shoot film photos, and I really wanted to shoot VHS video. I hope it's not too disappointing to learn that while this is authentically VHS that you're watching, it was recorded on a digital camera first, a wearable camera. And then I refilmed the screen with the VHS camera at home. It just sadly did not work out on the day, just as film did not work out. I had to leave my camcorder in the car. Too much crap with me, not enough time to get to it all. I've previously tried a digital to analog converter to simply record digital video onto VHS tape, but I was not happy with the look of doing it that way. I suspect this looks a lot better because it had to pass through the beautiful old 1988 CCD sensor inside my camcorder, rather than simply being dumped onto tape straight from a computer. I made the choice not to de-interlace the video. Interlacing is an analog compression artifact. The lines, you may have noticed. That's because I felt it added to the aesthetic. Will I do more of this? Probably. Will I always leave the video interlaced? I have no idea. It looked great with the alleys and stuff, but I don't know if I'll feel the same with other types of locations. Probably not. So in the end, did it pay off to overshoot this session? I think I already answered that, but unfortunately I must report though I don't really have any huge regrets or anything. I feel like we got some cool stuff. But no, it did not pay off. I think I had the mixture just wrong. Less shooting, more directing. That's what I should have done. That would have resulted in more consistency, I feel, and time to try other things, to find other spots, other ideas, other details, whatever. But I really love some of our images. I just think moving around more would have been a better strategy. I mean, we moved, but moving between every few frames. Like, even if only moving a few feet. So I get home, I download, there's a lot more data to store, and a lot more work in front of me, because there's just way more photos than normal. So how do I approach this work? Do I really sit there and ponder the value of each frame in relation to the frames around it? How could I, possibly? It's just too much. Don't have the time, the patience, or a brain that can keep up. I see the same shot over and over, and I'm just not capable of assessing it anymore. I'm drowning in choices. So what actually ends up happening is I just say, okay, this one's fine then. Then I dump the rest, or I'll pick the first one, or the last one. The only possible advantage to overshooting is choice, options after the fact, but if I'm too numb to make an informed choice, my perceptive powers are too saturated to consider more options. Now I'm just picking at random, and it was all for nothing. I could have made a very informed choice if there were only 3. Also, I could have paid more attention to the details of each shot as I was taking them if there were only 3. Better in the shooting, better in the choosing. Double missed opportunity. And the third level of frustration is we probably could have found another 5 interesting little spots or ideas to shoot had we just moved on from the first one when we should have. Like, I was really floored by her creativity, but I should have deployed it with more strategy. I'm not telling you what I think you ought to do, but clearly also I have not changed my mind. Overshooting is harmful to my photography. I was correct to work on this, and hopefully it won't require too much effort to get back to where I was. Links to all of Maria's social media stuff in the description.